Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long Term Podcast. I'm your host, Adin Villa. Today, we have a student doing a combined degree in music and education, Mikhail Abdulla. We will discuss music and the different instruments that is required to take home and practice in this degree, the role of physical activity in augmenting life and its ripple effects, gratitude and how that has instilled peace and love and compassion towards everything, and relationships and how that plays a role in life. Everyone, welcome.
It's good.
Cool. Yeah, bro. How's your day so far?
Good. I
Yeah,
had a good day. I woke up, had some French toast for breakfast.
Oh yeah, how's that?
It was great. It was delicious. And then I had my workout and now I'm here.
I've actually haven't really had French toast. Like, it's
Man.
kind of just like it's the same as pancakes, though, right?
Bro,
Like
I think is better.
Yeah?
I think French toast is
Yeah?
better. I think so.
I don't know if it might start a war and
It might
Is that-
actually, yeah.
Welcome, man. Welcome to the Long Term Podcast.
I'm happy to be here, man. Thank
Mikhail
you.
Abdulla. Yeah, so combined degree, hey?
Yeah, so I'm going into my fourth year
Mm-hmm.
of my Bachelor of Music and Bachelor of Education
Mhm.
5-year program. So just the way it works. So you would go in, your first 3 years are kind of as a music student, and then your second or your last 2 years would be kind of more as like an education student.
Cool. For those of you listening, watching, I see Mikhail on the bus many times, and he's always got an instrument. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Can you talk to me about kind of the process as to how that goes about?
Well,
being-
I'm in a secondary ed program. So
Mhm.
for music in high school and junior high, you need to
Mhm.
know how a band works, right? Like I was a
Mhm.
band kid in high school, and I'm going to be
Mhm.
teaching band kids. So I gotta know how those instruments work. So they give you in your syllabus, whatever, they'll tell you, oh, you're gonna be learning these
Mhm.
instruments this semester. And then you go rent the instruments like trumpets, trombone, saxophone, all that kind of stuff. You go out, you rent it, they give you a certain amount of time and you have to try your best to master it.
That's awesome. Which one's your favorite?
My favorite, probably the saxophone. It was
Yeah?
so much fun.
That's I remember we were talking at the gym. That's like the one Lisa has in The Simpsons, right?
I don't know, man. I didn't
Careless
watch The
Whisper?
Simpsons. Yes, there you go.
Yeah,
Careless
yeah,
Whisper. Yeah.
What inspired you to pursue a combined degree in music and education, and how do you balance the demands of both fields?
Well, I guess going into my program, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, especially in grade 11 and grade 12. I was kind of still trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and
Mhm.
I was kind of set on going into industrial mechanics, kind of
Mhm.
stuff like that. That's kind of what I thought of doing. And then I talked to one of my teachers, and we were talking, and I was like, "Man, I don't know if that's for me. Like, I like working with my hands. I enjoy, getting my hands dirty and stuff like that. I like tinkering with my car and all that. But I thought about it, and I'm like, is that really something that I want to do every day? Or I kind of thought, what can I do with my life where I can go and I can better the lives of others while still enjoying myself? And then I did some snooping around on the university page, and I found this super cool combined program where I get to go in, I get to do music and do what I love doing without having to worry about, oh, I'll do music and then, oh no, like I'm
Yeah.
not going to be able to, it's very difficult to be successful in music, right? So the idea of being able to take that and
Mhm.
use it in an education setting where I can teach my students, I can enjoy music with students, with other people who enjoy music. Like, band is an elective option, right? If you have to take math class or something, right? You don't have to take band. So that's also something that I thought of, where it was like, wow, I'm going to have students who love music and I love music. So that's something that I saw myself being able to do every day, going in, teaching students about things that I love.
You wanted to pursue something that you're passionate about, but at the same time, it's very difficult to for people that just solely focus on the music degree, it's very hard to find a job, right? And you
Sure,
wanted
yeah.
to, you found a route where, hey, you can pursue your passion, but at the same time, you could also guarantee that there is a job waiting for you.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it's I know people the same way who did
Mhm.
go into a performance route and everything, and they are some of the most talented people
Mhm.
I've met. And I know that they're going to be very successful in what they do. But I thought about in my life, is that something that I want to be doing where I don't know so much if I have that something to fall back on. I could get very lucky, and because I've done my music degree, even if it's not a performance program, I've still done some of it. So let's say I get really lucky one day and, I'm a big rock star. That'd be amazing.
Mhm.
But if that doesn't happen, I'm very happy with being a teacher,
Mhm.
showing students, oh, this is what life can be like with music. And this
Mhm.
is what music is like.
It's being content. And there seems to be the narrative too that a lot of people tell kids where it's follow your dreams, keep going. But at the same time, if everybody followed their dreams, okay, the reality of it is there are going to be actors, musicians, YouTubers, podcasters,
There you go, yeah.
where they don't have any revenue because it's one of those games that you're playing where to succeed you have to be very talented and you have to be lucky, and
Yeah.
at the same time you have to be realistic with your capabilities. Like for me, I also did guitar and
Yeah.
I sang, and I had hopes to be a singer and be a rock star, but I realized I was average. Yeah.
And it's not even so
Mhm.
much about, oh, well, I'm only average, so I can't, go far in music or sport or anything that you're doing. It's also that thing of being like, well, what about, my family in 20
Mhm.
years, right? If I'm some big rock star, I'm sure my family would love that. But for me, I would want to be around them so much. And, you don't know from paycheck to paycheck what you're getting with that. I'm being if being a teacher gives me something stable where I can
Yeah.
do what I love, be with the people I love,
Mhm.
and better the life of even one student, I'm happy. That makes me happy.
The stability as well.
The stability as
Mhm.
well, yes.
Mhm. But you can still pursue it. Well, maybe you won't be in the 1%.
Yeah.
You can still be in a niche where you are pursuing something you love and you are helping the world, helping the kids,
Yeah,
the future
exactly.
generation.
Exactly.
Could you share with us the range of instruments you're required to learn for your degree, and which one has been the most challenging or rewarding thus far?
Well, in terms of instruments that I've had to learn in this year specifically, I started in September in a brass tech class. So we had to learn, we started with the trumpet. Then we went into trombone, French horn, tuba, euphonium. And I remember you seeing me with all those giant cases.
Mikhail gets an extra seat, or the instruments get a seat on the, on the bus.
And when I got a tuba, man, I just drove to school because I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that to everybody on the bus with, my giant, like the case was probably up
dude,
up to
that's
here. It was
awesome.
ginormous.
Yeah.
But that was so much fun, just getting to learn everything and just the rewarding aspect of like, I started as a percussionist, right? So I was a drummer in high school, and then I went into university with absolutely zero technical training on how to play. And I went in like I was some big shot. In my head I was like, oh, I was so good. I mean,
confidence.
exactly, yeah, fully confident. I went in for my very first drum lesson with my professor, amazing guy. Man, everything I did was wrong. I came out of that lesson thinking, well, what am I even doing here, right? But that's also part of it where it was, from those instruments in the drums, timpani, marimba, like xylophone type stuff, being able to work at that is just very rewarding. And in my view, the way it was I went in with absolutely zero technical training. I know, like, I was holding the drumsticks wrong. How do you even do that, man? Like, I went into it holding my sticks wrong, and I came out of it with a knowledge and, in my opinion, the amount of improvement I had over those 3 years throughout my lessons because when you go in, you have to take private lessons for whatever your instrument is. So for me, it was like, wow, I started not even knowing how to hold my drumsticks properly. And I came out of it playing something I never thought I'd be able to play. But going back to the instruments that I had to learn that I didn't know, my first semester, yeah, brass, all that stuff. And then second semester, we did.
When you say brass, what does that mean?
So it's like, when you see, I don't know, how would I explain it? Brass instruments, it's like trumpets and stuff like that. So you don't.
Kind of like.
Trumpet, trombone, tubas.
No. I see the pattern now.
Yeah, so the way you can usually tell a brass instrument is there's nothing you like put into your mouth. That's the difference from that and woodwind. Like,
and it's like a slide mechanism almost.
Yeah, there's either buttons or a slide. So they call it the buttons. I know on your
like a recorder as well.
No, your recorder would kind of be more of a woodwind. I actually don't know what your recorder would be exactly. But the trumpet, or the brass instruments, the thing with that is you make the sound with your lips.
Yeah.
So there's a little mouthpiece you put on your mouth, and then you kind of like buzz into it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you learn how to play those ones. And then there's the woodwind instruments, which have a little reed. It's just like a little piece of wood, not that big, that you just slide onto it. And then the way you play is you try and make that vibrate. And that vibrating is what makes the sound. So like a clarinet or a saxophone, for example.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. But
it's probably like the categorization is probably a whole nother field for it too, hey?
And you know what? I honestly, I couldn't even tell you exactly like what makes it. Like, I mean, obviously, like, a reed, that's what makes it different. That little piece of wood is called a reed. So that's the difference between a woodwind and a brass instrument. But, if we broke it down into like perfect anatomy of a brass, and I couldn't tell you that. And maybe I should
as you go deeper, it gets more complicated.
Yeah, right. Like if my professors are listening, I'm sorry, you did a great job with teaching me, but I don't know.
So brass, and then what's after that?
Brass I did in my first semester, and then second semester this year I did woodwind. So that was flute, clarinet, oboe, bassoon, and when I missed saxophone. Did I say saxophone? I forget. But most challenging one for that one had to have been the flute, just because it was so difficult. Like, it's such a tiny instrument, it's like this big, and I swear, man, you play like for 2 minutes, and you're out of breath. Like, I get nosebleeds, and
really,
yeah, man, because I don't know.
You have to blow harder on the flute.
It's not even that, just the amount of air you need to use for it. It's not what you expect. Just I don't know. It's counterintuitive. I don't know how I'd explain it. It's just so strange. Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun to suffer.
Why do we have to learn the recorder in elementary? You're gonna have to do that.
I have no idea. I'm secondary, so I don't know why the recorder, but I'd assume it's just show kids, what you can do in music and stuff like that. But
probably the expense.
It's very easy to learn.
Yeah.
So I think, and I think it's just trying to show kids, this is things you can try outside of, I don't know, just like math and science class.
Yeah. How has your musical training influenced your teaching approach? And do you integrate music into your educational practices?
Music is, for anyone who's done any sort of music, you learn that you need to practice and practice and practice. That's the one thing that every music teacher, whether it's guitar or singing, piano, anything, they always drill into you that practice, practice, practice. That's what you need to do. You need to go home, and whether it's practicing, 5 bars of the song that you're learning, or practicing your scales or anything. That's the one thing that kind of taught me that if you want to be successful in anything, that's what you have to start with, the practice and making sure that whether you're studying in kinesiology or whatever, that's the part that for me was able to translate into my school kind of life and academic life, where whatever I'm learning, I need to, put my head down and do it essentially. And in terms of music in a educational teaching my students approach, something as simple as just letting your kids listen to music while they're studying in class or doing classwork. Something so simple you don't realize until you use that and go, okay, well, this is something that music has a way of kind of making you zone in, right? You go to the gym, you go study.
Yeah.
Usually you play some music or something in your headphones because it helps you do what you're doing.
And your mood is altered.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You know, like you go to a hockey game or something. Are they going to be playing like, this really boring,
Yeah, sad
piano
yeah,
ballad, or are they
yeah,
going to be playing,
yeah.
something with bass that hypes
Mhm.
everybody up, or
Really just vibrates your heart.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? Same idea with, for some people I know studying, like
Mhm.
I know some guys at school and stuff who, they'll listen to like death metal or something while they're studying. And to me, that's absolutely insane.
I don't get that. How
Right?
does that as a person
exactly.
focus? Yeah.
And for me, I have, movie soundtracks or something like that. That's what I like to listen to when I study because it just puts me into that zone.
Mhm.
So in terms of the, approach with students, just something as simple as just listen to music while you study. Can we listen to music? Yeah, sure. Go for
Yeah.
it. Just something as simple as that can help your students so much because you're also teaching them how to make habits so that they can learn how to study better or learn how to do anything better. And as a teacher, that's kind of your job. My job is less to teach my student, oh, this is how you play a flute, and more about, hey, this is how you approach life and how you become a better person. That's more of what your job as a teacher is, to me anyway.
Yeah. And there's optimizing the learning too. And as you said,
Exactly.
with the music, because it can really enhance your mood onto whether you want to study or not. And really, if it depends on the scenario as well, whether if it's about being in a hockey game and being hyped up. Like
Yeah.
what if you're in a class and you guys are celebrating? You're celebrating after, I don't know, just
Pizza
with
party,
sports.
anything like that.
Yeah. Can you tell us about a particularly memorable musical performance or experience that has shaped your journey as a musician and educator?
I'd have to probably say particular memory would probably be from this year. I had a concert at the Windspear with.
I saw that. Yeah, that was just recent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what month it was in, but recently, probably my favorite concert experience, at least at the I can't really remember too much from high school with
Yeah.
it, but we had
How'd that feel?
amazing, but it was like we went into it and there was a thing called the concerto competition. I didn't compete in it, but basically it was musicians from all over you play in this competition to be kind of like a featured soloist on with the ensemble from the university. And one of my friends, he was a percussionist in our section. He won the concerto competition.
Wow.
So
This guy must have been insane.
oh no, and he's amazing. And it was just watching how he was able to play was something that kind of just opened my eyes into like, wow, like you can work hard. And like I've talked to this guy before and all this, and it almost was like everything about him was he put his head down, he did the work, he did everything he could do to become a better musician in any way. And he is one of the most talented percussionists I think I've ever met. I've learned so much just by watching him. But for me, that was a very memorable experience because, I got to see one of my friends up there being the rock star, it was about him. And I was able to, sit back in the rest of the group and just watch him be amazing. And another part of it was we had, I think, there was 8 percussionists, I think. And we were asked to kind of open the concert with a octet. So it was just us. It was, instead of the whole group starting it, it was just the percussionists starting the whole concert. And we played a piece called Transform. I forget by who. And it was a challenging piece because we didn't have anybody conducting us while we were doing it. So, usually you'll watch a orchestra or whatever and you have that guy, the conductor in the front. We didn't have that.
How crucial is a conductor?
Not insanely, but only if you've put in the work to be able to know what's going on without the conductor. Because the conductor is
he's kind of the rhythm, the tempo.
Everything,
right?
It's, you get your piece of music as the performer and, all you can see is what you play. The conductor up there, the book that they have has everything that's going on in the whole thing. So it's conductor's job, you need to come play now. You need to be louder. You need to be faster. You need to be this, you need to be that. And so without that, we needed to be able to, kind of be in sync and have that connection to know, oh, it's my turn to be louder. Oh, it's that guy's turn to be the spotlight. Oh, it's there's something lacking here and we need to be able to do that. So the practice and work that we put in for that was also just what made it so memorable, because it was a thing where it was like, we were scared going into that, going, man, like, what if we screw it up? Because one thing goes wrong, everything goes wrong. We don't have anybody to, bring us back. If you make a mistake and you have your conductor or something, they can say, hey, slow down or something. There's someone there to kind of catch you if you fall. If we fall, no one's catching us with that. And the way we were able to play it was, I mean, honestly, looking back, we rocked it. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
So that being able to see, we put in the work, we did so well. And then also being able to look at the guy who was the spotlight of the whole thing, being in that group that we started the concert with and all that. It was like, wow, this is just what goes to show when you put the work in and you practice and you try your best.
There's a great deal of fulfillment after you practice and those late nights and the early mornings, and then you make so many mistakes, but then in the end, it just all comes together. And it's crazy with pieces and performing, especially in a band, because when you make a mistake, I used to perform the singing, guitar, and just I forgot the lyrics one time. I was just like standing there waiting for the next one to remember. But if in a band, if one section falls off, it could trample onto the rest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it turns into a catastrophe if you guys don't ensure that the tempo is right, that this is on rhythm, this is on cue, because it would sound wonky if you're ahead, right? But even by just a millisecond.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's where metronomes are pretty big in the bands and the music industry. But when you were looking at your friend too, you didn't feel any envy at all? You didn't go, I wish that was me?
Oh no, by far. I definitely wish it was me, but it's easy to look and say, oh wow, I wish that was me. But if you kind of look back, and it's easier because, I knew the guy, I knew how hard he worked. He was in our studios late at night, early in the morning, all the time. Whenever he had a free minute, he was in the studio practicing. So it's easy to say, oh, I wish that was me. But I was sitting there going, yeah, but I didn't put the work in. So I can wish it was me all I want, but I didn't put the work in. I didn't compete. And to me, it'd be very, very cool to do that, but that's not where I was, going into, I would love to maybe in a year or so compete in that competition as well. But I'm not at that level yet. And I know that. And it, like I said, easy to say, oh, I wish that was me, but you got to put the work in to be able to wish that was you, or to have an opportunity for that to be you. You can't it doesn't just come out of nowhere. You got to put in the work.
You bear the fruits of your labor.
There you go.
And I really like your idea of effort and how that doesn't let you become bitter. Because I know for me, sometimes I'll see that someone's doing better and I'll think, oh, I've worked so hard. Why not me? Why them? But then I go, I could have worked harder. I could have prioritized my sleep. I could have, instead of going to that one thing that one night, I could have practiced. I could have done better. Instead of placing the blame onto other people, it's great to just look into ourselves and go, what could I have done? Because placing it on them, and it's great that you looked up to your friend and you're happy for them, right? There's also kind of that feeling of that could have been me.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's totally okay. You can put in 10 times more work than the guy who won or anything like that. But that's the thing, you got to be able to put in the work to be able to feel bad for yourself. If I genuinely had put in all the work that I could and had just as much effort as he did, and I lost, it's okay. You learn so much from that. And just because you lost now, now what it takes to almost get there. Imagine how much you'll be ready for the next competition, right? You already went, let's say 99% or even 100%, and let's say you lost. Well, guess what? You already set the bar for yourself that you can hit 100%.
Yeah.
Let's just say now the next time you won't hit 150.
True. There's always the next time. It's not the end of the world. Sure, you didn't win that competition. There's going to be a next one, unless you're like 99. Otherwise, you should just chill.
If you're losing until you're 99, then I don't know.
But dude, I love that. what is this friend's role? Like exactly. So I don't really know exactly a band's kind of roles. So you said he was kind of the spotlight,
Yeah.
and he is it like do you have to play a specific instrument? Do you have to?
No, you can enter on anything. So, like he's percussionist, so he entered on a xylophone. So he played a xylophone.
Oh, that like
yeah.
bro.
And so you need to enter. I don't know all the rules for the competition and stuff like that. For what I know, it's available to anybody. And any instrument. So he went in on a xylophone. I'm sure you'll find people who went in on a saxophone or a flute or something like that.
Yeah.
But he went in with a xylophone. He ended up winning it, and the way it ended up working out was now he was a soloist for our ensemble at the university. So we set up. He came out. All of us, we wear concert black, or like a suit and a bow tie. But he was being the soloist. He gets to wear what he wanted. He gets
Incredible.
to have the spotlight.
Yeah.
He was, when they say, oh, the ensemble's coming out, we all go out together. And then they announced him, and he came out on his own. So that's kind of the thing where it was like, this is his moment. So usually the way the band is set up is the percussion's always in the back, but because he was the highlight, he was right in front, and we got to see him shine, and it was amazing. And I'm just happy that I got to witness just the raw talent that man has.
Man, I wish I could have been there.
Right? I'll send you videos.
Yeah, no, please do. Physical activity.
Yeah.
How does your passion for physical activity complement your studies in music and education? And how do you manage to balance both interests effectively?
I've always been someone who enjoyed sports just in general. And the same way I kind of telling you about, working hard in your studies and in music and everything like that. There's something about being able to do that physically and just like test the limits of your body. And I know you as well, with how much you freaking run. Like, it's unbelievable. I don't think I could make even a half of that.
We got to run a marathon this year.
I'm going to leave right now if you say it to me. No, but seriously, just being able to test just the limit, not in a dangerous way with your body, but being able to see, how far can I push myself and how much can I get better in the gym and stuff like that. And the way, it complements with music and studies as well is, I sit at my desk the whole day looking at my computer, or I'm in the studio at school the whole day, just playing some sort of instrument or something. I'm not, like doing anything. So being able to take an hour out of my day, hour and a half out of my day, and go to the gym or go for a run or something like that if I don't have the time to go work out, and just get my heart pumping and sweat a little bit. That makes it easier for me almost to go back home and sit at my desk and study. It's almost like, like a reset switch. You spend your whole day at school, at work, sitting at your computer doing, unless you work very labor intensive, but I don't do that. So that's why, being able to go to work out, learn more about my body, stuff like that, get more in tune with my body, because it makes it, if I'm playing a drum kit or something like that, you need to know where everything is. And that comes with practice, but you also need to know how fast does my hand have to go from here to here or here to here. So being able to have that mind muscle connection almost, and be that you would have in the gym from, I need to pull this amount of weight with this muscle, and being able to translate that to, oh, I need to move my hand from here to here, and just not even really needing to think about, oh, I know how to do that in a way that's effective because I've been in the gym and I know the muscles that, maybe not the actual anatomy of it, but I know the muscles I can feel when I'm moving. So I think that's something and it's just a way of taking a break, right? I know, like Lauren, for example, my girlfriend, she likes to do puzzles, and I know that's something that she uses as a break from school and stuff like that. And for me, my break is going to the gym. That's just, I don't know, that's how I'd explain it.
You have to be rigorous with the body so the mind doesn't become disobedient. You sit all day, and you learn the flutes, you learn the trombone, you even the xylophone or whatever instrument that you have received for that time of the semester. Going to the gym actually augments your playing because you're dialed in. Not only is your breath better, your breathing, your blood's flowing, your mind, you're sharper, and your sleep is better because you went and now you feel relaxed. And while that's not the only route, there's also puzzle solving, right? Like you had said, Lauren does that.
Yeah.
And there are different ways where you can have that cathartic experience where, okay, sure, it's a passion for you. Music is a passion for you, but at the end of the day, it's still school. It's still work, and it can be really taxing. So there needs to be an outlet, whether it be talking to some friends, going for a walk.
Yeah, it can be anything. Yeah.
Have you found any parallels between the discipline required in physical activity and the dedication needed for mastering musical instruments or teaching?
Same idea, just with practice and practice. It's just that idea of, you go to it's practicing and applying things just in a different way. It's with your studies, whether it's, instruments or music theory or learning about anything, really. You need to sit down and you need to understand what you're doing. And to me, that's the same way, when I go sit at the bench to bench press or something, I need to know how my legs are working. I need to know how my shoulder is working. I need to know how my chest is working. I need to know all these things. And if I go and I sit at the bench and I load up 500 pounds, because I can bench 500 pounds. I don't know if no, I'm just kidding.
No, that's that light day for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, light 600, day. Honestly.
600 pounds is what he's PRing.
But, you can throw all that weight on there. But if you don't know how to move it, what's the point in doing it? You might feel good doing it, but you're not doing it properly. And you might hurt yourself. You might hurt someone else. Can damage something. You need to understand what you're doing when you get into the gym. And also because then you're not wasting time when you get there, right? Student life is crazy. Any life in general for a lot of people is very crazy. So if you're spending, 3 hours at the gym or something like that, if you have the time, great. But I don't have the time for that. So I need to know what I'm doing when I get there. And that's a parallel, I think, with, the studying aspect that I've learned in music, where it's, understand what you're doing. And that'll make it easier for you when you're actually doing it. And that similarity would be just, that high you get when you're like running, for example, that like high you get.
The runner's high, bro. I love that. I love that so much,
it's
man.
Unbelievable. Like I only started running recently, after I met you and just feeling that for the first time was unbelievable.
Bro, awesome, hey?
Like I was on the treadmill and I was just like, I can just keep pressing this button and just going faster and faster, like a free and harder
dopamine
and harder.
Button, endorphins.
I know, and I was like, if anyone's looking at me right now, they probably think I'm the craziest person. I'm smiling, I'm having a great time just running, and that's the similarity you get. I can say in music. I don't know about in studies with anyone else, but that feeling I got when, for the first time, I played a full song on the trumpet after never being able to play it. Or the first time, my percussion professor came to me and went, hey, you're not playing at the right level. Let's bump you up into something more difficult. Or him saying, hey, I gave you this and it was really challenging. And you know what? You did it and I'm surprised. And, you hear that and you go, what do you mean you're surprised? Like, I'm great. But at the same time, it's like, this guy knows. He's been doing it for 50, 60 years. He knows what he's doing. And for him to say to me, hey, you're punching above your weight class, and you did it. That's more important to me than the part where it's like, what do you mean you were surprised that I did it? It's like, you know what? You put in the work, and that high you get just from being able to do
fulfilling.
It. Exactly.
Yeah. You go to the gym, and the parallels of setting up a plan, you don't have enough time to go about just 3-4 hours at the gym. So you need to know when you show up there, there's a plan. Same way with school. You can't just trial and error. Sure, it's great to have trial and error with certain things, but even then you still need to go about it with structure, a plan in place, so you can improve and you can experience those times of fulfillment. And you had said that the highs that you get, the boosts in confidence and fulfillment, they mimic the feelings you get after playing a piece after not be having a difficult
Exactly.
time. And it's the same, but it's different. Hey, it's just so like the runner's high that I get. It's the same where some person recognizes my efforts, or
Yeah.
it's like after trying and trying and trying, I get it. But it's almost as if like running, it's not as, you don't look back, you don't really brag about it. Like sure, you
Yeah, man,
still
it's
you
hard,
feel it.
though.
What's that?
It's hard though.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's like there's your other self where you want to put in the achievements and all this, but then there's also the physical side of that. But the feelings associated with them are like very similar. I find that fascinating.
And even in the gym, like a big thing for me was I wanted to hit 2 plates on the bench. That's the thing I wanted to, like, I really wanted to, not for any reason except I just wanted to do it. You know, and that feeling I got, I tried it for so long, almost a month or something, and I just wasn't getting it.
Yeah.
And the day I had a video recording, and I finally got it. Yeah, the day I got it, I had a video of it, and
oh baby,
I know. And I mean, I don't know what I can bench now. It's been so long since I actually sat on the bench press, but the video I had of her, it's I finally got it. I kept practicing, and I only got it, let's say this high or something off my chest. And the moment I crossed that barrier, I knew this bar is going up, and I'm racking it.
I relate to that so much. After that, the 2 plates club, it's just like, whoa, you're a new man.
You did it.
Like, you look in the mirror, this is the different man.
Right, exactly. And it's something so small, but it's just,
dude, that is not small. That is not small. You're in the 1%, the 1%, bro.
But it's just that thing of where it's like, you put in the work, and being able to feel that, like I said earlier, that being able to feel that high of I did it, and I put in the work to do it. It's one thing to say, here, take this, and you can have this, and great. And it's another thing to say, no, I want to go get that. No, and I'm going to go get it. And I'm going to do whatever I can, and I'll take the help along the way. But I want to be able to stand on my 2 feet and say, I went to go and get that.
That's why I see the disconnection with the people who are given everything. You see these kids from millionaires, billionaires, and everything's handed out to them. And even in high school, the kids that didn't work for their cars, who would just handed it in as soon as they turned 16 from their parents, end up crashing it. For the people that were given money after a relative passed away, they just squander it gambling. Yeah. But to be able to actually work towards, whether it be wealth, whether it be your strength, whether it be your looks, because even it takes a lot of time to really sharpen the mind, the body, and the soul. I'm a believer of just a holistic approach. There's so much effort that is associated with that, and the people who are just given it. And I see this in high school too, where the people who were just attractive. See, for me, I was ugly as fuck, man. Like I was, but I had to work for it. I still am.
Hey,
I'm
you did
average
a great job.
now.
If you were ugly, I think you've done a great job to where you are now.
I'm pretty average, but I was starting off here, and so I'm like, how can I get the girls to like me? How can I be noticed a little bit? And so I started lifting a little bit, started running, started eating,
shaving,
from my my own diet.
Deodorant.
But then the people I see that were just given, like they were born attractive. I see like the guys, girls. What ends up happening now we're almost in our mid 20s, because I graduated in 2019. Some people let themselves go because they like lots of people flock to them because they didn't really work for it. Same way with people who were very talented in music. They just kind of got bored.
Yeah. And it's a thing of hard work will always beat talent. If talent doesn't work hard, you can have all the talent in the world.
Yes.
If you don't work hard with that talent, it's the NHL playoffs right now. I'm a big hockey guy, right?
Yeah.
Look at Connor McDavid. You think he's where he is if he didn't put in the work?
No, bro.
Same with Zach Hyman. There was a big story with him in how he was hardworking. That's how he got to where he was, and he's you're in the NHL now. That's the top 1%. So it's that idea of you can have all the talent, you can have everything given to you, and talent, that's a God-given gift, right? You can't just find talent. Now I have talent. That's something you were born with, and if you don't, it's like a plant. If you don't water that plant, gonna die. And then
Yeah.
what's the point, right?
Yeah, it's a
You-
muscle. It's gonna atrophy.
You gotta be able
Yeah.
to put in that work, because the hard work is always gonna beat the talent.
Yeah.
The talent guy, he has the leg up because hey, he was born with it.
True.
But you can outwork the guy with the talent.
Yeah. My dad always taught me that if you can't understand the textbook after reading it one time and you're feeling bad because the kid next to you is just absolutely intelligent, reads it, not even paying half attention, and you're still struggling, then read it 10 times. If you still can't understand it, read it 100 times. If that's still not enough, read it 1,000 times.
Exactly.
You can do it. It's just, it may require a lot more effort because you weren't gifted, but 10 times out of 10, hard work beats talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does physical activity contribute to your overall well-being and mental clarity? And do you find it influences your approach to teaching or music performance?
Oh man,
Mhm.
physical activity it's like I said, it's like a
Mhm.
it's like a reset switch on your brain almost for me.
Yeah.
And everybody has whatever that thing is for them. For me, it's working out and going to the gym or going for a run as far as I can make it, right?
Mhm.
But just the mental clarity aspect of it is, you're almost in a better mood. I don't know the science behind it or anything, but you go into the gym, and even if you don't have a great workout, but you got your blood rate or your blood going, and
Yeah.
your breath was you're puffing and puffing, and you got a good sweat in. And it might not have been the best workout or something, but you come out of it feeling better almost. And I don't know how to describe that feeling of I went into the gym, and let's say I had a bad day at school. It was tiring. It was exhausting. And the last thing I want to do is spend an hour beating my body or something with weights.
Mhm.
But you go into it and you're so exhausted, and you come back out of it, and it's a different kind of exhausted. It's less that, scrambled,
Mhm. Disoriented.
disoriented. Yes, a great word for it. It's less that exhausted, that kind of exhaustion, and more that, okay, I can breathe now exhaustion.
Of course.
If you it's that feeling of you went and you sprinted for 2 minutes and you're like, okay, I'm done now, okay, it's okay,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm good now. It's that feeling, and it's almost like that feeling carries over
Yeah.
into when I go back home and to
Butterfly
study.
effect.
Or yes, exactly. And it's I go back home and study, and I'm more efficient in my studying because whatever happened at the gym or whatever, I was able to just kind of
Mhm.
turn off everything else, put my headphones on. If I was there with a buddy or something like that, we worked out, and it wasn't about, oh man, I have this assignment or I have this due or my boss needs this or something.
Mhm.
And it was just, okay, I got an hour. I'm going to lift some weights, have a good time, run for a bit maybe, then the sauna, and then I'll go home. And then I'll deal with that when I get home. And just being able to have that off switch and be able to go to the gym and just kind of turn off outside
Mhm.
and the noise, that I think is something that has been very mind opening, however you'd say it. to me.
Yeah, it's cathartic.
Yes,
And
exactly. Yes.
I always picture going to the gym as chucking a pebble at a river and then just the ripple effects. And
Yeah.
that's practicing for music, that's interacting in relationships, that's being thankful, that's sleep. It just carries on over. Same
Exactly.
way if you don't go to the gym. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
And-
negatively doing that.
And
Mhm.
something I
Mhm.
like I said earlier, being a teacher, it's less about, and you need to teach your kids the curriculum. If there's any future employers looking at this and they're thinking, oh, this guy is going to
Yeah.
teach our students,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. Yes, you teach the curriculum, but your job
Mhm.
as a teacher is
Of course.
create people who, when they finish in grade 12, whether they go into university, whether they go right into working, whatever they do, when they come out of that, they have the tools to be a good
Mhm.
person, an efficient person. They know how to go about their life. And that's something that I want to be able to show my students is, hey, look, you have 5 hours of work to finish tonight.
Mhm.
How efficient are you going to be in that 5 hours? If you went at it all 5 hours, you're not going to be that efficient come like what? Hour 2, hour 3? You're
Yeah.
lucky.
You're right.
You go into it in an hour and your brain is probably already fried by then.
Burn yourself out.
Exactly. You're totally burnt out. You need to find something and need to be disciplined in it where you go, I'm going to take my hour to work and then I'll take 20 minutes. And for me, it would be, I'm going to take 20 minutes. I'll run around the block or something like that. Or even like I know some people, they like video games or something, and you need to just turn things off for a minute and then go back into it.
Of course.
I know people who have done that, they'll study for half an hour, take 10 minutes, study for another half hour, take a 10-minute break.
Pomodoro, 30 and 5.
You got to do it. And it's just how,
Mhm.
it's how I've learned. And, there's some people who can sit for 5 hours and study start to finish, and it'll probably suck for them, but for them, it's, hey, I can do it, so it's okay. I'm not one of those people. I'm someone who needs to take that break.
Yeah, you got to do what's best for you.
Exactly.
Are there any lessons from physical activity that you apply to your academic or personal life, and how has it impacted your growth as a student and individual?
And it's the same kind of idea where, things I've learned in the gym and how it affects, you need to be able to just put in that work. And it's, it's a thing of, it's like, oh, I want the big biceps, or I want, big chest and all that. And it's okay, but how are you going to get it? That's what I think I've learned from the gym. There's like something from my personal life and relationships, even. It's that
What about when you're like interacting with family members, like your actual personal kind of the struggle that you go about in life, like maybe the doubt, maybe the negativity that comes your way? How has the physical activity help with that?
And you know what? It's like I was saying earlier, I could have a really bad day and I can go to the gym and I'll feel better about it. And
Can you describe that?
It's almost like a safe space kind of thing, where it's, there's so much going on mentally where, I've had a really bad day, or I'm really sad, I'm really angry. And, I don't so much want to take it out on someone, where having that, I like to think it's healthy, but having that, I'm not a therapist or anything. I can't say if there's a better way of doing it. But for me, it's that thing of, I've had a very bad day. I'm in a bad mental space, and it's easy to blow up on other people. They're being annoying or something like that because you've had a bad day. But in reality, they're just being themselves, and they're just being the normal person. So being able to go to the gym and kind of just take it out on the weights, or take it out on running or something like that. To me, that is something that has strengthened my ability to have relationships with people, because it's the thing of, okay, I know how to take any sort of anger or any negativity that I have, and instead of, putting it on the people I love, I have another another outlet of how to deal with that.
That's awesome. Let's talk about gratitude.
Yeah.
How do you cultivate gratitude in your daily life, especially amidst the challenges of balancing your academic pursuits and extracurricular interests?
Man, like, you gave me these questions and they were, they made me think, and that's something I love. But something I put down over here is, just being able to live in the moment. Something that has made me so grateful of people around me and everything like that, because it's, like I think about, I was at a concert for Daniel Caesar in September.
Oh,
I love Daniel Caesar. One of my favorite, if not my favorite artists. And there was a moment where he sang one of his songs, and it was one of his older songs, I think from 2016 or something. And only like, I don't know, in my whole section, I think only 6 or 7 of us knew that song. And I didn't have my phone out or anything, because I was like, oh my God, he actually sang. It's my favorite song. Wow, he actually sang it. And I didn't have my phone out. And I think that's something where it's, you learn to have those moments and really soak it all in if you just sit in the moment. And that's one thing I think I've learned a lot in terms of gratitude, and the way even just sitting right here, right now, if we didn't have these mics or something, we'd still be having this conversation.
We would. We've had those bus rides that I mentioned a lot mean a lot to me.
Exactly. And me too, the way, because it's easy to, you sit, and we could sit on the bus across from each other, I could be on my phone.
I feel like this would
in.
be the only difference right now is there's just mics and a camera.
Exactly. We've had conversations like this.
I'd say there were some better ones
every time.
man. There were there's this one conversation that was just really fulfilling. This one particular day where I was having a bad day, and you had mentioned in the moment. I was not in the moment. And then when I saw you on the bus, I'm like, there's Mikhail. We're going to have a good conversation again. And then the conversation was just about like not taking life for granted and gratitude. And we talked about family, and we talked about health, and we talked about just the positive things in life.
Exactly. And it's just having that ability to, you know, just sit back and just soak in, you know, just look at what's going on around me. You know, it's, I was in Vegas, you know, your listeners won't like me very much. I was in Vegas for a Golden Knights game because I love the Golden Knights. And just being able to, you know, sit there and go, holy crap, you know, I've been waiting for so long to see this team play at home. And I am finally able to do it. And it was everything that I dreamed it could be, because it's a thing of like, and you know, it's just a hockey team, right? It's not that big of a deal, but it's, you can apply that kind of thinking with, I'm sitting with my family for dinner. Wow, this is amazing. You know, I'm actually just able to sit here, and I'm grateful because, you know, I have the people around me that I love. They're healthy, they're happy. We're here, we're sitting a meal, and it's something as simple as that. And I put down as well, you know, going into work, going into school, anything like that.
Privilege, man.
It's a privilege. And you know, you might not want to do it. I hate going to work. Not because I hate the job I do, or I hate, I love the job I have, but it's that thing of, it's like, I have to go to work. It's never, oh, I'm so excited, I have to go to work. You know, it's always,
what if you didn't have work?
I have to go to work. And if I didn't have work.
What if you didn't have school? I wish I had school. Like, I wish I had work.
But, and you know, for so many people, and it's, you might love what you do. That doesn't mean you're going to love having to go to work. You know, there's, but
of course.
Going into work and, you know, the people that I work with, the job that I do, that's something that I'm happy for, because, you know, you can go to a job that you hate, you cannot stand. And for me, it's, I get to go to a job, and I might not want to go to work. Let's say that day, I do not want to go to work. Yeah. But, you know, I get to work, and, everybody around here is happy and smiling, even though not everybody wants to be here or something, right? So it's that thing of, I get to go into a place where I'm happy to be around the people that I'm around.
And I think you also just have a really positive mindset, and you have a lens of gratitude, agency and gratitude, and you see that everyone's having a good time, and you look for it. And you had mentioned that you were at that hockey game in Vegas, and this is something you've really wanted to do for so long. You prayed for it. Now you're finally there. Are you in the moment? Or are you going, oh, what about the next one? Oh, what about this one?
And you know what?
Yeah.
That whole time I'm thinking, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's how it can be with anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, you know, I worked for so long to try and go for this or something like that. It's something as small as having dinner with my family. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And where some people don't get a family. Some people don't have school. Some people can't go to their favorite hockey game because they just can't afford it, or they don't have the means to, maybe they don't have legs. There's so many people out there that would kill to be in our spots. Because a person that you think of the best, that they're doing amazing in life, the inverse is also true. There's a person that's doing the worst, and that it's true for that person because they also know a person doing worse, and it keeps getting deeper and deeper. And it's great to just stop right now and look around
and just realize
you're alive. You can breathe, you can see, you can hear, you can taste, you can love, you can feel hate. And that's all just human experiences that are beautiful. They're just all part of the package of what it means to exist.
Exactly.
Can you share a specific moment or practice that has helped you develop a deeper sense of gratitude, and how has it influenced your outlook on life?
You know, you talked about it a bit earlier with cats on the bus, and I told you this story already. But something that just made me realize, and it's like you say, just the ability to just do things is something that I'm so grateful for. And the day I realized this was, I was swimming. I used to swim when I was younger, and I was swimming. I can't even remember when this was, a few years ago. And I was swimming, and, you know, swimming for me was never something that was like insanely difficult. I know people who can't swim, or swimming distances is difficult for them, but I was trying to get my cardio back up.
You're a
and
little
all
bit
this.
of a natural. Not the best, but
Yeah,
they're certainly not
my
average.
family, exactly. My family always swam. My brother was a swimmer, so it was something that I was able to do. And I was swimming, and I think I got about 150 or 200 meters in, which
Good, not that far.
exactly,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
not very far. And
Mhm.
suddenly, my legs just stopped working, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Okay, what the heck just happened?"
What is this? I can't.
Exactly,
In the
and
water, it's
and-
like, whoa, what's going on?
and you're in the middle
Yeah.
of the water, so you get
Mhm.
that sense of, okay, now like what's happening? I need to get back to the wall. I need like, there's so much going on in your brain where you're like, okay, hold on, what's going on? Something's not working, and my legs just weren't working, and I was like, okay, this is something that is second nature now. I've been doing this long enough that I
I've been
don't need to think
walking.
about kicking my legs
Mhm.
when I swim. So how come they're not kicking? And now I'm thinking about it, and how come they're not kicking? And okay, I pulled myself to the wall. I jumped up and I sat, and I was like, okay, like, how come my legs aren't working right now? And I gave myself a minute, and I'm like, hey, well, you're freaking out. So that's not helping either.
Was this at Millennium?
Millennium, yes.
Okay.
And then, it started coming back where, I can move my legs again and all this. And I'm thinking, okay, now what the heck just happened? Because this is not something normal that happens to people.
Yeah.
Your
Just-
legs don't just
That's
stop
freaky.
working.
You must have been just petrified.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly it. And I'm driving home, and not to brag, but I drive a stick shift, so I'm pretty cool. But I'm driving home, and I'm thinking, okay, like, what if that happens right now?
Yeah,
I can't
I'm just gonna
move my-
swerve and boom.
And I can't
Yeah.
press my brake. I can't, and I'm like, okay, it's okay, whatever. And it was that moment for me that was like, holy crap! Like, I almost lost my legs, and I ended up going for doctors for scans and whatever about it, and it just turned out I have a small problem with my hips, and that's very easily fixed. And the thing that the chiropractor and the doctor told me was, yeah, this is not a very big deal. Just be a little bit careful, with swimming or something.
Mm.
And that was the moment for me where it was like, holy crap.
Everything can be taken away from you.
It was so close to, I was swimming, and then in my head I was, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't drive my car. Someone has to take me around everywhere if my legs don't work. That was a moment for me that was like eye-opening, because it was, okay, I am so fortunate to be able to jump into the pool or drive my car or walk to the kitchen to get a glass of water because I'm thirsty. That was all something that I was scared. Holy crap, this is something that might be just taken away. And I'm so unbelievably happy that I am 100% fine. I get a backache every now and then or something because of it.
Mm.
And that little bit of pain is nowhere near the amount of pain that I was scared I would have, if that makes sense.
We suffer more in imagination than reality.
Exactly.
That moment made you realize that anything and everything can be taken away from you.
In the blink of an eye.
ability to walk, you took that for granted. You just went about, you can go to the store, you come here, you drive, you walk to class, you run, you squat. What if that was taken away? You can talk. I had the same thing with my ears, and just long story short, I think we this is what we talked about. This is actually what we talked about on the bus, which is my favorite bus ride talk. Just I had that fear too, where if my hearing was taken away, and you realize that every sensory experience, every body part has their role: vision, taste, hearing. Just it is so fundamental to be human, and it's not just given all the time, because that can be taken away. Imagine if you couldn't see. There are people out there that can't. There's people out there that don't have legs. There's people out there that don't have families.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes beyond than just the body.
Exactly. It's something something you don't even think of, oh, I put my headphones on, I can hear, or, oh, I get out of bed in the morning and I can walk, or, I wake up and I see my parents in my house and everything. It's something that you don't realize you have that's amazing until it might go away. And it's that thing of appreciating it and being happy that it's there while it's still there.
Mhm.
I don't ever want to be in a situation where something has happened and I realize, oh my God, I was so lucky for that.
True.
I want to be able to see the people around me, see the things that I can do, and always understand that I'm very fortunate and very lucky to be able to do those things.
Before it's too late.
Exactly.
Because you never know when that thing, that person, that talent, that privilege can be gone. Because one day you and I are going to wake up and we're going to be 80. We won't be able to lift as much. We won't be able to have as much power to play the flute or
Yeah.
the violin, or the guitar. Our family members will die. They're going to die. Maybe some sooner, some later,
But it
but
has to happen.
we also die. And it's recognizing that, okay, that's the reality of it. That is the scope of just life, and that is what we are here to do. Where we are challenged, we do face all these challenges, but it's within us to get back up and find tools such as gratitude, such as being in the moment, such as discipline, such as finding passion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's beautiful, man. And in what ways do you incorporate gratitude into your teaching philosophy or musical performance? And how does it resonate with your students or audience?
It's something that it's like you say, just having the ability to do something is something you should be very grateful to do. And like for example, with your audience, something you were always taught as a performer is, who are you performing to if there's no audience? And at the end of the concert and all that, whatever, the crowd is clapping for you and everything, but in reality, you would have absolutely nothing to do on that stage if there was nobody there to watch you. And that's not me trying to say, oh, I'm in music because, oh, I love seeing people clap for me and all that. It's not even that. It's, I get to go work on something and perfect something because someone might pay money to come see that because they love it too. And there might be some kid somewhere, watching that or that I'm teaching and will go, wow, this is something really cool that I want to do.
Yeah.
Or something that, this guy is able to do. So, hey, why can't I do it too? Or something like that, where it's like I was saying with my friend in the competition that he won, the amount of people who watched that and went, oh my God, like that was amazing. And his being there, you don't know who might have watched that and gone, hey, I'm going to go try and play the xylophone. And in 10 years, they might be amazing. And you never know when you're that person performing. You never know how the person watching you might be impacted by it. And that's something that I always try to think about, when I go out. I don't know. I think I'm done now with my performing because of just how my degree is structured. But that was something I was thinking about in the last 2 or 3 concerts that I had was, oh my God, like, what? Was there anybody watching this who might have been, who might have seen us playing or something and gone, hey, this is something I want to try out, or this is something that opens a door for me to do something else. And in teaching students, I want to be able to tell them that, and like I said earlier, but your band class is an elective class. It's not required for anything. And I want to be able to take those students who chose to be in my class and say, you know what, thank you for being here, because I would not have a job, or hopefully in a few years, since I'm not graduated yet, but I would not be able to have that job if there wasn't X amount of kids who said, yeah, you know what, I'd love to go take band, or I would love to go, learn this and learn that. And I think, I don't know, that's something I'd like to instill in how I teach is make sure the kids know that you know what? I'm very thankful that they're there, because I feel like that's something that with teachers, you don't always realize. You know, you might have a really bad teacher or something because he's a really grumpy guy or something like that. I want to try my best to not be that grumpy teacher. I want the kids to know, hey, this guy.
Have you noticed any changes in your relationship or overall well-being since incorporating gratitude into your routine? And if so, how are they manifested?
I don't know so much if if there's been any, changes in, like the actual relationships, like in, you and me, let's say.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's so much that has changed in how we interact as much as there's been a change in how important you might be to me or something like that. I think,
Mhm.
and the way I think that's strengthened my relationships in a lot of ways without both people kind of being aware of it. Like I can't speak for any of my friends or anything, right? But even, with my family, I can tell I'm closer with them. It's with some of my friends, I can tell I'm closer with them because it's the thing of we're both happy that we're in each other's lives. Even in my romantic relationship, it's something where we can both recognize that we're very fortunate to have each other, and to have been able to find, that person. I'm only 20 years old, right? I'm very fortunate to have been able to find that person at a young age. And it's something it's hard to kind of put into words with how you feel about that, because it's,
Mhm.
I know there's people who will go until, they're 95 years old and they may never find that person.
True. Yeah.
And I know
Mhm.
that's a very real fear for a lot of people. And it's like we were saying, it's something you don't realize until it might be taken away or something, right? And that's something that made me realize that, wow, like with my friendly, even with work relationships, like I was talking about earlier, I get to go into work and I'm happy to see the people there. I can't think of anyone at work where I'm like, oh, I can't believe this guy's working today. And that's something, that they've done a great job with hiring and all that and stuff. But I've had other jobs where, I go into work and there's one other person there that I enjoy being around, right?
I know you told me the story.
No, exactly, right? Like it's
Yeah.
hard to
Mhm.
it's hard to go into anything like that where you're going in and you're just dreading it. So it's nice. That's something I've noticed in being grateful for the people around me has strengthened a lot of relationships, just even in terms of just how I view these people, if that makes sense.
I do the same thing. And actually, before that, like for you, that your perception, the way you treat people hasn't really changed. It's more the feeling associated you have of those people. You're more thankful for them. And that just boosts overall joy.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, relationships now with gratitude is so fulfilling. And I take it as we've talked about how things can be taken away from you, relationships, they're not all guaranteed. That has made me live more in the moment, because my mom's love, my dad's love, my sibling love, it's finite, right? Like, sure, I believe in heaven and I believe that we're all gonna, like, if you're good, you're gonna end up in heaven. But on earth, this is all we've got right now.
Yeah.
So it's best to just really appreciate people. And while sometimes I'll actually journal and I'll write things about people and I'll make them read it. Like, it's just, I've made some people think like I was gay, but I'm like, no, that's not what I mean, bro. Like, I love you, but not like that. You know?
Exactly. And that's a very important thing to have with your friends, where it's, I know, all of my friends, at least I hope, they know that I love them. And I might, I'll, maybe you could say mean things and all this and that.
Yeah,
but
a
at the
little
end of the
banter,
day, exactly, it's the thing of, at the end of the day, if you called and you needed something, I'll pick up that phone. Don't even worry.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope all of my friends realize, because I'm so grateful to have them in my life.
That's awesome, man. How do you prioritize maintaining meaningful relationships while pursuing your academic and extracurricular activities? And what strategies have you found effective in balancing these commitments?
It's hard. It's
Mhm.
there's so much going on in your life, and being able to, I think, almost blend how you treat your relationships and schoolwork. That's something I think that
Mhm.
has helped me to strengthen those relationships, because it's hard because, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so
Mhm.
busy. But you can be busy together. You go study
Mhm.
together. And now, like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna bring like my flute to Starbucks so that I can study with my friend. You know what I mean? So you have to know what you
I mean,
can.
you could, but
I
you'd
don't
be
think anyone would
sacrificing.
enjoy that.
You'd be sacrificing the relationship and other people around you too.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that to the people around me, because
Yeah.
it sounds so terrible when I play the flute. But
Okay, even if it's beautiful though, I'm sure your playing's fine, but nobody asked for it.
exactly
Yeah,
right.
you're there to have your friend and have a chat,
Right.
and
And
there's a time and space for that.
it's something that
Mhm.
you can try and find that extra, like, hour that you have, and even using that as your break or something. Hey, go grab a coffee or something like that, and just letting the people in your life know that I'm really busy, but even if I don't have the time to see you, to talk to you or anything, I still want to be around you and your friend or whatever it might be, right? And
Mhm.
just being able to be honest about that. And I think it's something that's a bit weird. You go to your friend or something and you're like, oh, I'm so busy,
Especially
I'm
if you're a guy. Like, I
yeah,
care, bro. I care, but like I
e-
just don't have time.
exactly, right? And it's something
Mhm.
that I think I've understood about, all my friends are students or working full
Was it
time or
always like
something.
that for you though? Because for me,
No,
it took a long time for me to get that. Hey, other people have lives. The world does not revolve around me.
exactly.
And even if they do have time, they don't have to hang out with me. They can
Exactly.
do whatever they want.
Like,
Mhm.
it was something that I think really hit me when I started university, because it was, high school, you're busy, but university, it's a whole
Yeah.
unbelievable other,
Mhm.
you don't have a minute to breathe, especially when you've just started in university. And
Mhm.
that was something, I was going through, but almost every single one of my friends was going through it too. And I might have had a free minute to go, oh, let's go, be stupid and have fun
Mhm.
together and whatever, or, play video games, something like that. But that doesn't mean that the other guy on the other end has the time to do that. And even if they
True.
do have the time to do that, they would probably rather do something else if
Mhm.
they wanted to. And that's totally fine. And that's
Yeah.
something that took me a little bit to realize, until, that whole aspect of gratitude of,
Mhm.
having people in your life where you don't need to see them every single
Mhm.
day or talk to them every single day, but
Mhm.
just knowing that they're there.
Yeah. And the interactions that you take too. Like for you, I don't. We've only like gotten to know each other. How do you meet? Oh no, I think I saw
At
you
the
at the
gym, you
gym.
introduced
Yeah,
us
at
at
the
the
gym.
gym,
Like, hey,
yes.
you going 414? And I don't really get to see you that much, but the interactions are so positive and it's so fulfilling that I think you're up there with some of my closest friends because you know me, even though we don't interact that much. I know you're busy,
Exactly.
and it's just you go about it with life with friends where they might start to have a family, they might move to another country, and you have to understand that you support them in whatever
Yeah.
decision they make, and you're with them in all of it.
And exactly that, we're at the point in our lives where people are moving away,
Mm,
whether it's for school, whether it's for job
yeah.
opportunities. I've had my closest friends move, whether it's just over to BC, which isn't that far away
Still though,
from.
like you can't hang out every weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From going to BC to moving down to Calgary or something, or moving as far as New Brunswick because of job opportunities or because of school. And it's as their friend, and you're happy for them, and you're there to support them. But as the
Mm,
person and the way you
mm-hmm,
feel, it's
mm-hmm,
hard, because you're like, "Ah, I don't want to lose my friend."
mm,
Or I'm worried, they're living in a different place. I'm never going to be able to see them unless, we're visiting. And even then, you got to spend the money to visit.
mm.
So it's hard. And being able to kind of see it more from the lens of the other person, where this is a great opportunity, and that support. That's, I think, how you really strengthen that.
Instead of being a bitter, just how are we supposed to hang out now? We're not friends anymore.
Yes.
The love is still there. Like my Bryce Bowen, he was on this podcast. He had just graduated kinesiology, and he's out doing some sales job, and he left Sherwood Park because we used to work together too.
Mhm.
And every summer we would have the time of our lives. Just we'd hang out all the time, would work out. But this year he found that job, and you know what? I support him, and I'm thankful for all those times that we've had, and that's instilled in history now. It's just that is the reality of our moments. That's happened. We took pictures, took videos, and it's all in my memory, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And what role do relationships play in your overall well-being and personal growth, and how do you nurture them amidst the business of student life?
It's everything, right?
Mhm.
Relationships with people, anyone.
Mhm.
That's everything. It's you wake up in the morning, and you see your family, or like I just got a dog, for example. I wake
Is
up in the morning.
The dog's name?
Her name is Sophie.
Sophie.
She's a little terror, and
Oh,
she's
man.
crazy.
Full grown now?
Yeah, but almost full grown. Yeah, I think so.
Mhm.
But it's that thing of, I wake up in the morning, and, I see my family when I wake up, or I go to school and I see my friends, or I go to Lawrence and I see her and stuff like that's it's everything. That's the part of the day you look forward to. You don't look forward to as much. You don't look forward as much to, doing your studies or doing your work or something. It's that part of, oh, I'm going to do my studies and I'm going to go do my work or whatever. And then I'm going to come home to the people that I love, or I'm going to see people that I love there. Or it's just that aspect of, it's better to have the people, because without the people, what else do you have? You have your work. That's great. Your work doesn't tuck you into bed at night, or it's the work. That's the part away from the family. And I think that's how I've tried to use relationships in my life, where it's, I might not always have the time to see people or do anything like that. But it's that thing of, people are always better than no people. And it's having those people around you that nurture you. You know what I mean? Is that a good way of explaining it?
And there's always going to be bad too, and you have to deal with that.
You have to deal with it.
The best and worst things in life happen to us because of people.
Yeah.
Why do people move away? Because they want to make more money. They want to be closer to someone. And why do they want to make more money? For the people. Or why do people want to inflate their ego with the wealth, money, status, so then other people can view them better? And I think those are vain, and have my own opinions with that. But everything we do they're for the connections that we make.
Yeah.
It's for our daughter, the sons, daughters, mom, dad, grandpa, aunt, uncle,
Everything.
And it just brought up an idea of, if everyone was removed from Earth and you were the last person, how long until you kill yourself? Right? Devoid of meaning.
Like, exactly.
Yeah.
What do you do in your life without the people around you?
Yeah.
I think I said earlier, you wake up first thing in the morning. I'll message Lauren. I'll see my friends, good morning, how are you? That kind of thing. Or I'll check, is there anything? Then, I go up, I see my mom, or I see my dad and
It's
my
awesome.
sister. My brother's moved out now, but even him, I'll send him a message. Oh, how's it going? Stuff like that. Being able to, and it's like you say, the busyness of life, but it takes a few seconds to send a text message to someone, right? And that's something that's so nice, because you can still have that connection with these people, even though they live so far away, or because you're so busy. It's just taking that 5 seconds to go, hey, how's it going? Or did you catch the game last night? Even something as small as that, because just having that connection, it's just, it makes your life better.
Yeah, that's how life is worth living. And are there any words you would say to someone who has difficulty in appreciating the moment and just devoid of meaning? What would you say to that person?
Truthfully, they'd be missing out, I think. And
Yeah.
I think I would say to that person, just next time you're in a situation or scenario where you think you are very happy or having a very good time, just take a minute and just step out of it for a minute and realize just how happy you are. And that's something I learned a lot in around COVID, especially because it was like we say, oh, there was so much that was just kind of taken away. And being able to be happy just in small things in life, when in COVID, you know, that's kind of all we had, right? All you really had was the small things in life. You know, seeing your friends in the parking lots, and like, you know, I'd be sitting in my car, you know, my friend's sitting in another car, and that's the only real way that we've actually seen each other. But appreciating those moments is something that'll just improve your life tremendously.
Because anything can change in an instant. Everybody, that was Mikhail Abdulla. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
for
man.
coming on the long-term podcast.
It was amazing.
This is a great conversation, and yeah, just more to come. That really what's changed. It's just the camera and the recording.
Absolutely.
People are listening right now.
Yeah.
Just I appreciate you as a friend, man.
Man, right back
I
to
always
you.
look forward to our conversations and on the bus, and you've taught me so much about music, and your passion for education and music, and the how you found gratitude, and how you found just the impermanence of life and found meaning in something that really scary happening is truly spectacular. Thank you again.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
And as always, to everyone watching, listening, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope. Keep going and keep it long term. Peace.
That was great.